did. He returned punts. He returned kickoffs, just like your boy Deion Sanders did. And he held records.
Deion's got the highest.
As far as
the only one who had more yards than him per game on recovery was Ed Reed, and Ed Reed was a safety.
So go to Ed Reed.
Deion did not tackle.
Yeah, but John, I got
Deion,
you, bro.
Career
There's no confusion. He didn't tackle. We're not talking about tackling. He said he didn't tackle.
Okay.
He's okay without tackling. The teams were okay without tackling.
He played.
The issue ain't about tackling. The issue was he would shut down the best receiver on another team. That's it. He's not tackling. Nobody mentioned the quarterback that he's tackling.
He played corner. He played corner the way he played baseball. I'm just going to back up, and maybe I'll get a ball thrown to me. That's my opinion.
Okay, and you're right. It's your opinion. In every poll, they got Woodson ahead of him, and they got Deion number 2. Mm-hmm. In the website I just put in the home. Go see what they have as number 1. Go look at his statistics. Now, I think Ed Reed was a great, but Ed Reed played safety. I forgot he played safety. I think Darryl Green was good. All of them you mentioned were good. The most feared guy was Deion Sanders. And they started saying what made him so great in one of the best picks, he's also one of the top number 1 picks out of all 5, was the fact that he played 2 sports at the same time. He barely went to 8 OTAs. He was literally playing baseball while he was playing football.
So that makes him
you don't think that's a big
dude? He had 500 tackle rate. 500.
He had 30. I don't even think he had 500.
14 years.
Okay.
He paid. I'm looking at his 500.
But how many interceptions? How many interceptions did he have behind the guy who tackled? Huh? How many interceptions did he have?
54 interceptions.
How many yards did he have per touch? How many pick six did he have?
Mel Blanc.
They got Charles Woodson as number 1 in this poll. Got Deion Sanders as number 1 in this poll. I'm going.
What about Rob?
I can't imagine.
Played 17 years.
I can't imagine you talking any quarterback. I mean, I don't understand. Okay, you could look. Everybody's got their own opinion. I don't think you can talk to any player or any quarterback who hasn't blatantly said that they had nightmares when they had to go up against Deion Sanders. I don't. They don't talk about the same atmosphere they talk about any of these other quarterbacks. What's that?
I would run the ball with Deion Sanders wherever he was. I would run whatever all day.
I don't disagree with you.
He did not tackle.
No.
Okay,
I got
what?
The argument I made.
He didn't.
The argument I made Byron the other day. And this through. Tampa Bay played 2 less years and had 52 interceptions. So there you go. And Champ played another 2 years. Who knows? He may have gone in and get the pity interceptions they threw the Deion Sanders at the end of his career.
Who?
But anyway. The only reason why we talk about Deion Sanders over Champion is because Deion talked about. That's all he talked about. He didn't talk about his team. He didn't talk about. He only talked about himself.
Yeah, but now you're being a capraro. Now you're being personal instead of to the athlete, and that's been your attitude anytime we talk about him. So if you're going to talk about pure skill, I'm not talking about pure skill. I ran a 4.2. He ran a 4.2 40. He'd cover Rice. He'd cover Michael Irving. Those top receivers would be a nightmare to cover him. Okay, his returns per interception were higher than anyone else. He didn't party. He didn't drink. He didn't do any of that.
Not true.
He kicked off. He was a kickoff return. He scored on kickoff return. He scored on punt returns. He played receiver. I mean, I'll give you the other guys that are pretty good. I still like I said, Ed Reed was one of the guys that I looked at. I go, oh man, I forgot about Ed Reed. But I don't judge. You may not like the guy, but it has nothing to do with his skill set.
No, I don't think he was. I cannot say he was the best corner of all time. I'm sorry, I can't. Good corner, yeah. Okay. One of the great ones, absolutely. But the best ever, no. I can't put him in that category.
I think I will put him in the top 5, if not in the top 3 of all cornerbacks of all time. Now, I like Lester Hayes.
You said number 1 last week, though, Vic. You said number 1.
Yeah, but then when I did some research, I kind of like Ed Reed, even though he was a safety. But if I had to separate if I have to say between Ed Reed and Deion Sanders, where Ed Reed was a safety, then if I had to go to corner, I'm gonna pick Deion Sanders over any of them. That would be me. And Byron, you're right. Hey, they should run the ball at him. They didn't. I mean, all that. Why didn't the offensive coordinators do it?
They did.
They got Charles Woodson's a good guy. They got him as number 1 in this poll. They got Deion's number 2. Deion still was playing 2 sports. Woodson was playing 1. And here, let's go look at the stats. What stats are you looking at?
71 interceptions, and he had 17 touchdowns, 1,100. Rob Woodson. Look at that. Okay. Rob Woodson. 17.
I'm here.
71 interceptions, 17 touchdowns.
Deion didn't play 17 years.
Look it up. 1,158 tackles.
He played. Deion played 14 years. Yeah. Okay. Deion had 22 touchdowns. Woodson had 17, which is impressive.
Yeah, combined.
Okay. 22 touchdowns.
Receiving,
okay. The one that you're not seeing, the statistics I had was the only one who had a higher average of yards per touch in when they intercepted the ball. The only one that was higher than him was Ed Reed, and Ed Reed was a safety. When you're a safety, you have a better chance of getting the ball than you do as a corner.
But once again, I go back to how he played corner. He played it like a safety. He went back to center field and waited for the ball.
Safeties, dude, really? You played safety, John?
No.
I'm sorry. Did you play safety?
No.
So then don't insult the safety when you tell them that a safety goes back and doesn't hit. No, you're saying a safety doesn't. Do you know that? Do you know that safeties have as close as many tackles as some of the linebackers? So safeties tackle. Steve Atwater didn't tackle, and Reed didn't tackle.
Byron, was I insulting safeties?
You were when you said he played like a safety. That he didn't tackle. You put safety and not tackle.
No. Steve Atwater was the greatest.
Right, so you're blasting my guy for the time.
And probably one of the greatest defensive players of all time. But
what'd you say, Byron?
The way Deion played, he just went back to center field and waited for the ball.
He didn't go back to center field.
Safeties get up in the box.
I like you, John, but if this was one of those episodes, I'd end you, because there's no such thing as a quarterback that goes back like a safety. Don't tell me you're going to talk about a position, and if you please talk about it with at least the position. As a cornerback doesn't go back. He's playing man to man. That means he's running with the guy.
Okay.
Really? What position did you play, John?
I played receiver.
No way.
Yeah, way. I went there as I went to Upsala as a linebacker. They made me a freaking receiver, man. I hated it.
Oh shit, that's funny. Okay. I would have loved to cover you.
But anyway, you probably would cover me like a blanket. I would say it was
the New York Giant guy.
Yeah. We're talking about. Look, I always look at it is you can go back all the different statistics. Deion Sanders, I think, people did not want to throw in his direction. Why they're even throwing in Tyreek Diggs' direction, I don't get it. But what I'm saying to you is, John, just the things that you're saying, they're not adding together for me, right? When you say he just goes back as a safety, a corner cannot play like a safety. It's a totally different position. So that's number one. Number two, when then you say like a safeties who don't tackle, I mean, they don't.
I agree, but whatever.
I got to get the numbers. You go. What else do you want to go? I think he's one of the top 5, not the top 3. That's right. So you said that.
I never said safeties don't tackle.
Emlyn Tunnell
Byron.
had the most return yards in 30 years. Look it up. Emlyn Tunnell for the New York Giants. He's laughing, all this other stuff, but he played Hall of Fame cornerback for the New York Giants. Most return yardage for for 30 years. 30. At a time when they only played 12 games. He had, what, 70, where is it? 79 interceptions.
Yeah.
He had the most earned yards.
If you want to go back that far, to the different, there's just different times for me.
It's
right?
still the statistics are still in there. He's still ranked. He's number 19 still overall after he ain't played years, and he's number 19 on the list as far as earned yardage for him.
Well, the only person when I looked at my statistics that per touch that had more yards per touch when they had the ball was Ed Reed. And again, he played safety, right? I'm looking up every piece that you guys have. A lot of the guys that you have on here, they got Ed. They got your boy Emlyn Tennell and cornerback at 14. Mike Hayes, I forgot about him. I like him. Woodson, I like. Ed Reed, they got him at 11. I think they got Paul Krause back in 64. I mean, Jack Tatum. I didn't realize Tatum was safety. Darryl Green, definitely good. Champ Bailey's awesome. Mel Blunt, Night Train 4. They got Deion at number 3. There's no matter what I'm looking at, he's in the top 3. So you can do by your next stand. I haven't found the site here. You want me to keep posting them for you? Boom.
Please.
Please. Yeah, go back. You ain't like you guys.
Go ahead.
Doing a great job.
Whatever.
All right, I'm good. Let's move on. Let's get off of this. This is not be something we're gonna settle here.
Go ahead, man.
That's right. I put in position, and I can't imagine anyone in today's football era is gonna not put Deion Sanders as one of the top 3 cornerbacks of all time. You may not have that opinion.
That's one of the top. Don't say, is he number 1 like in your book, or is he in the top 5? Which is it? That's
realistically.
You're saying, is he number 1?
For me, he's number 1. But I have no proceeding to a Charles Woodson or Ed Reed safety. I keep saying I like Ed Reed. Dick Night Train Lane, I don't know of them. I can't tell you what the fear. Okay, not a safety position.
All these guys have records for decades, man. They held records for decades as interceptions and the things they did. They did it in the 50s, 60s. That doesn't matter. But these guys, man, they have records that stood
I understand that.
Time.
But but in the modern day game, in the modern day game, to shut down a whole side of an offense is difficult. And he wasn't playing think about the receivers he played against. Everyone he played against was Hall of Fame. Tell me the receivers he played against.
Okay. All right. Say in the modern era. When did he play? No. When did he last play?
Let's move on. I don't want to go into this argument. Huh?
No. What was his last season?
When was his last season?
You started it.
They still had VCRs back then.
90-something. 90. 2000.
He retired in 2005.
He came out of retirement after not playing.
He retired in 2005.
Stole the ball.
In 2005, he retired.
So I'm now in the modern era right now, the last 15 years, there are way more now. There's a lot of good receivers now, way more than when he played.
Okay. So who would you say is the top quarterback right now?
Michael Irvin, Jerry Rice. The 2 greatest ever. Right now, they got a whole bunch of receivers that, are covering. You go 3 wide and 4 wide and 5 or whatever. There's a lot of those receivers.
He only had to cover 1.
Okay. Don't worry about the other guys. Don't worry about it.
They didn't have to worry about tackling. His job was get the ball. All right, let's move on because this is agreeing. I agree to disagree, but I don't like getting to